Hello, welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast for the first proper podcast of the year, really. Been a very weird start to the year. This was not meant to be. This one was meant to be a cross between a review of last night and a preview of this week, this Sunday coming. But as it stands, North London derby's up in the air. So the majority of this show's going to be covered on last night, but there's a lot to talk about. So thank God for that. As you can see, I'm joined by Steve and Kunjan. How are you doing, guys?
Yeah, not so bad. Hi,
Kunjan.
Thanks for having us, right? Hi, Steve. How are you? Good to see you, buddy.
Good, mate, right.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting day, isn't it?
Just a touch.
We've seen better days, but it's good. It's good. Like
it could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse.
It could have been a lot worse if Granit come back and bit us on the arse.
Yeah, what can you do, eh? What can you do? I mean, it's always likely to happen, isn't it? It's only a question of when, isn't it, really?
Well, this is the thing. We might as well start off there as Granit's Xhaka. I mean, I was doing a stream last night with myself, Melvin, and Liam, and Go popped in at half time. And because a few of the people in the chat are still you're scapegoating him. And we're not scapegoating, we're just saying that why it had to be. Of course, it had to be him to be the one that does the challenge and gets sent off. And it's not. Again, and we're trying to say it's not the first time either. He's been here 6 years now. It's not like he's just arrived in the country. He's getting used to the league now. It's been an ongoing thing on and off for the last 6 years plus. And from what I can make out, I remember he had this reputation in Germany. So it's not like he's just happened when he turned up at Arsenal either. But yeah, again, this is a guy that's seen through Wenger, seen through Emery, seen through Freddie briefly, and now Arteta. They all seem to like him. On his day, when he does have a brain fart moment, he is a good midfielder. He's one of our best. Let's not get it twisted. But on the flip, there's too many brain fart moments. There's too many times, especially now as one of the leadership group people, where he lets us down too many times. And last night was the first time in a long time his stupidness didn't bite us on the arse because the rest of the team had to dig deep. I can guarantee you at full time they've all gone back in that 0-0 draw. They probably would rip his fucking head off because his stupidness completely changed that game plan. But Steve, what was your thoughts on what he did last night and the game in general?
He was just caught in, he was the last man, wasn't he? And he obviously, Jota was bearing down. Jota got to the ball first. We'd already bombed forward on the attack, hadn't we? And the ball broke. And, Robertson, I think it was, picks out a long pass right on the money, doesn't he? And it sort of left Xhaka exposed. And he takes a wild swing at the ball and, he takes Jota out. And obviously Jota's went down like a sack of spuds, isn't he? And he was the last man, and the rules go. He's got to go, isn't he? Unfortunately, whether there's any malice or intent or deliberate, he's the last man. And you could look at Ramsdale. Could he have come out quicker to give him support? He didn't. But you can't do that, can you? You can't tackle like that. And I think he does it too often. Not just with the red cards. You see how many silly yellow cards he picks up through. Pulling players back, and when there's no need for it, it just seems to be in his DNA. He can't help it. I think Arteta says today, he can't stop him tackling, and it's just bad timing. He's obviously just not very good at it, is he? And as I say, he's the referees have they got him earmarked? If it had been somebody, if that had been a Van Dijk in that situation reversed, would he have got a red card? You would hope so, but we've seen in other situations. I think there was a Aubameyang and was it a Leicester player last season who didn't get a red card for a similar
Johnny Evans. Johnny Evans.
Situations, wasn't there, the weekend when Aubameyang didn't, they didn't get a red card and the other team in the other game did. Virtually identical situations. VAR and one, as always with VAR, we seem to get very few in our favour. So even if that, I think they looked at that one, didn't they, on VAR, just to double check it?
Yeah, briefly, but yeah.
Briefly, but, so, yeah, Xhaka, it's almost like, is he going to stay on the pitch or is he going to get sent off at the moment? And based on that, he's our only senior midfield player at the moment. And obviously, Lokonga is in. You could class him as a senior player, but he's not really a senior player. He's only been playing 15 games or whatever. He's a young lad. So, it leaves us really, really short, doesn't it? Now.
Yeah, just a tad. And again, in terms of the midfield options itself, with all the suspensions and injuries, and AFCON, I have no sympathy with Arteta and Nadu, because they knew, in terms of AFCON, they knew that was coming last summer. They didn't act on it. They sort of sat on their hands and hoped for the best. And then let Ainsley go as well. That makes even more sense. But yeah, it's just, and there's a few people that I know that bring up the Vieira situation. Like Amiva Kaji got in 9 years. And I go back at them and say, well, pretty much most of them red cards, if not all of them, came in the first 3.5, 4 years.
Different game now, though, isn't it?
It was a different game, but also the manager and the players around him pulled him to one side in the end and told him, enough, you've got to change your game. You've got to curb your behaviour on the pitch, because it's doing us over every time. It's not fair on us. And he had the maturity to do that. And it seems Xhaka, he came out last night, he done it before, I'm so sorry, But he does it again. I mean, what was it, the Leeds game? As you say, silly bookings. It's having a good game. We're coasting 2-0. He gives away needless free kick and gets booked for no reason.
Yeah.
And he almost got sent off in that game as well.
Yeah. You can't keep doing it, can you? But, we're a bit stuck because he's not available now. I mean, depending on what happens at the weekend, he's not available for Tottenham and Liverpool, is he?
As it stands, if Tottenham goes heading out for 2 games, Tottenham and Liverpool would be out of. So all we've got, literally, in terms of midfield availability, is Sambi.
Yeah. And there was talk of pushing Ben White forward, wasn't there? There's a few people who've been saying about pushing Ben White forward. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Kunjan, what about you? What did you make of his latest antics last night and how it affected the game?
I think I put it out on tweet. I put out a tweet that said 3 guarantees of life: death, taxes, and a Xhaka red card. I mean, you're not surprised.
Just a question of which order.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. That's a good point. I think it'd be Xhaka red card, taxes, maybe death. No, but I think it's gotten to a point where we're not surprised by it anymore. And with Xhaka, it's a very bipolar relationship with the fans, especially, and you do realize that this is something to do with his temperament. And the best picture someone can draw you is when he got stripped off his captaincy. He's getting substituted. Sure, a couple of fans are heckling you, booing you, they're giving you a hard time. You're the captain of a club. You're the captain. You're the talisman of 11 or 10 other players on the pitch. The last thing you want to do is disrespect the badge, disrespect the armband which has been given to you. But at that moment, I think the blood is so quick to rush into his brain, and it's boiling, that he doesn't know how to react. And if that's happening when there's no physical play in motion, when there's nothing happening to you to trigger that, except a couple of fans booing you, which, you know what, be a thorough professional, walk off, be dignified. But I don't think Xhaka has the maturity, let's put it that way, to control his temperament. And we see that bleed onto his game. I'm pretty sure while that ball was played to Jota, he had enough time to realize, okay, what am I going to do to deal with this? And he went for the obvious. He's like, you know what, I just take a swing, and then whatever hits. Like, it just goes to show that your temperament isn't there. Like, yes, he brings a certain solidarity when he's on the pitch. And that's why, be it Wenger, be it Emery, be it Ljungberg, or now Arteta, they've all liked him. Mourinho is pushing for him to be at Roma. Rumors are that he's still going to try in summer. There must be something about Granit Xhaka that people like. But as fans, we're like, we get it. There's something great. We still don't see it in nearly 6 years. But when he's been given the opportunity to stamp his authority, especially after the City game, especially after getting sent off, you expect the first City game. Let's not even talk about the second City, the first City game. You expect that here's a guy who's understood that, you know what, I need to keep my cool. I need to be there for the team because I let the team down once already. We give him the benefit of the doubt for the City game at the Emirates. You give him the benefit of the doubt. You're like, you know what? It was Bernardo Silva asking for a penalty, and sure, you know what? You let that go.
Changed
What was
the
his
game, didn't it? It changed the game at that point, didn't it?
It did. But again, the thing that actually changed the game was Gabriel for City at the Emirates. So let's put Xhaka out of the mix over there. But with Liverpool yesterday, as soon as he got sent off, I was like, here we go. Here we go again. You know, now it's a question of whether it's 2, 3, or 4. But if there's one positive we should take, thanks to Granit Xhaka, is everyone is saying Ben White, 50 million steal. So that's one positive we should take. But I don't see Granit getting this out of his system. I think it is who Granit Xhaka is, and either we learn to live with it or we remove it altogether. I don't see a middle ground.
No, I don't. He's of an age now where he's not going to change his game, is he?
29. He's already 29. Yeah.
You know, so we are, as you say, we've either got to replace him with somebody who gives us that toughness in midfield that doesn't get themselves sent off every 5 minutes, or you're going to persevere. And at the moment, it looks like we're going to persevere because there's not really anybody else lined up to race him, isn't there?
No.
So, you know, it's a tough one. I think he's going to play if he's fit and available, isn't he? I think at the moment that's where we are. And we just hopefully can get through 90 minutes without doing something stupid. But
well, the way things are going, let's survive 19 minutes before 90. So.
Well, you could probably run a book on what minute he's going to get a booking, couldn't you? You probably earn some money of that, couldn't you?
So God, imagine
if what Sadio Mane did at the Chelsea game was done by Granit Xhaka, straight red. I'm pretty sure he get a straight red. There's no discussion.
He's built that reputation up, hasn't he? He's built that reputation up within the Premier League. The refs always have that extra eye on you, basically.
Yeah.
And that's where Vieira and the likes of the players of his era sort of wised up. As soon as after a while, you know what, we've got to keep the good side of our game, but we've got to be mature in our game now. We've got to basically grow up and put our team first, instead of putting ourselves first. But as you say, he's 29 as well. I forgot how old he was. But yeah, it does seem, in terms of short-term wise, he's got to be here for at least the rest of the season, obviously. And they'll probably look into buying a long-term replacement for him in the summer, probably. That's what. Can't do another season. Can't do year 7 or 8 of it. Granit fucking Xhaka in our midfield.
Tell you one
Champions
thing,
League, no Champions League.
I think the defensive side of the game was fantastic. I just thought Callum Chambers, I don't know where he's been, but coming back,
he was fantastic last night as well.
He was fantastic, wasn't he? You know, he finished last season as virtually our first choice right back, and obviously Tommy is the man now. But I can't see the logic of playing Cedric ahead of Chambers. Just doesn't. No. I just don't understand that really.
Yeah, so they've been doing up because even beforehand when he came out from Fulham under Emery, he was arguably our best our best performing right back at the time. He came back with a point to prove, and he's sort of continued that every time. And last night, when obviously Ben White was announced as well in the match, I said in the stream, I thought Chambers was in for a shout as well because he came on, didn't step his foot wrong, and bossed that side of the pitch and put, was it Minamino on the side? I think wasn't it? Yeah. Had him in his pocket the entire game. Not once did he get done up by him. And he held it, and then when he going forward, and we did it to go forward, he was good enough. He was quick enough getting back as well. He had that perfect game basically. And again, like you say, yet we're seeing Cedric starting ahead of him up till obviously got injured. It's like, why? Especially when you're seeing. I was watching the Forest game the other day. And he's running down, chasing back Cedric, but he's huffing and puffing. He's like, after 2 minutes. Oh, bloody hell.
Mm.
Atletico, if you still want him, though, he's a great player. Please take him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Arteta's looking at something else in training, and and obviously he sees Cedric as his backup rather than Chambers. But for me, it's the other way around, for sure. And I mean, if Cedric's injured, he's probably not going to be available. Well, I mean, we've got a lot of people not available for the weekend, but I would think Chambers would start if we do play the game.
I'll be shocked. I'll be honest, because I think from what I've heard, we've literally got a starting 11. That's it. In terms of, we've got 11 players available. I don't.
So you look at our bench. We've got
no bench. We've literally got no bench to put on.
You look at Liverpool's bench with all their COVID and everything else and injuries, and you look at our bench. There was nothing. There was no comparison, was there? I mean, Tavares was our only player on the bench, and Chambers until he came. Obviously came on quite quickly, but there's nobody else on the bench really. They were bringing on Gomez, Chamberlain. It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy.
But it's amazing how up in Liverpool the cure for COVID can work like that in 48 hours.
They never had it in the first place, did they?
I know. And it wasn't last. That's another thing that pissed him off with Klopp last night. Was afterwards, and his post-match conference, even today, he's blaming COVID because they drew 0-0. Oh, our players are fatigued still. So you just said on Sunday, bar one of them, 13 came back false positive. They didn't have it in the first place. So what you make your mind up?
The stats say that's not possible to have that many false positives.
Yeah, literally, it's 9 impossible.
Size.
It's 9 impossible.
0.0001 or something. Ridiculous.
Yeah. It's 1,000 to 1 to have one false positive. Apparently, to have 13 in one hit is literally, as you say, impossible. But hey, it works for Liverpool. Guarantee it won't work for us, though. But it is what it is. I mean, we've mentioned two of the players, but we had a bit of a shaky start. We've got to admit before just setting off. But once you got that out of our system, we were threatening going forward. And even at 10 men, we had that chance. So I think, in my opinion, we had the best chance of the entire match with Saka. But his first touch.
If he can control that ball, it's 1-0, isn't it? But it's a fine line, isn't it? That's sort of, and there was a few other opportunities we had. We were pressing them more than they were pressing us. I mean, what did they have one? They had one shot on target, did they?
Literally one. No,
they had none. They had none, I think. But they have a shot on target.
None?
No, I think Saka's shot was classed as a shot on target. He got it off, and I think they had one shot as well. That was it.
Quite clear one off the line, didn't he? Where Ramsdale come out and missed it or something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, Ramsdale actually didn't have a save to make, did he? Really.
And as I say, when you're considering Liverpool went full strength yesterday for the first time in the competition, and we just been pumped by him a few weeks ago before Christmas, 4-0, that pretty much same team, bar two players. As you say, he didn't have much to do. And then, but again, that's down to not just Ben White and Chambers, that's Gabriel, Tierney, obviously when Tavares eventually did come on. And then Arteta's got to take massive plaudits because obviously he changed it with Xhaka going off. He had to change the formation to give Sambi some protection in the midfield off the ball. Otherwise, it would have just been in and he would have been overrun. So he brought in Saka and I think now Saka Martinelli after all they dropped deep central to protect Sambi, and it did work. So it absolutely, you can see it's starting to frustrate the Liverpool players because they're just having shots off at him whenever they could, basically. And
that's it puts us in a good position for next Thursday, doesn't it? Because I mean, obviously, hopefully, we'll have players coming back for next week, which makes us stronger. They're not going to be stronger next week, are they?
And we'll be fresher because we've touched the wood. If the game gets called off this weekend, we'd have played. They would have had to play, whereas we wouldn't have. So we've had an extra few days to prepare for it as well.
Yeah, and I think we've gone to the same lab as Liverpool for our tests. So because obviously Klopp recommends them, so we've gone to the same lab to get our tests done. So we should get a decent amount of positives, negatives, shouldn't we? Not that I'm saying it's fixed, obviously, but no.
No, of course not. No, can't say that. It's all allegedly, by the way.
All allegedly,
If anyone comes at us. Oh, days, but I mean, Martinelli, after stating he got as well on Sunday from parts of the fan base and the media for being having a poor game. Again, he's 20 years old. He's not even at his peak or his pomp yet. He's going to have the odd off game, and it happened to be in the cup game. But he wasn't the only one. But he got a lot of flack because everyone's expectations are way high. But last night he sort of went basically F you all, and we saw the Martinelli we usually see. And this is
he ran himself into the ground, didn't he?
Yeah.
He ran himself into the ground for that team.
He literally did, and he does it most of the time. This is what I don't get when he doesn't do it. When he or anyone else has an off game that performs to that level, I don't get the hate they get. It does my bloody loafing because 9 times out of 10, they run themselves into the ground and leave everything on the pitch. And he did it last night. And again, we've got a young squad, and he's part of that young squad. He's 20 years old, as I keep saying. He's going to have an off game. You're going after people like him, but you won't go after the experienced players. It does my head in.
Yeah, but I mean, you're against one of the best teams on the planet, and you hold them to a goalless draw on their ground. I mean, it's not always about free-flowing attacking football, is it? Sometimes it's get men behind the ball, stop them scoring, give ourselves a chance in the second leg. And they did all of that, and they did that with 10 men for 70 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jesus Christ. And then also, I think apparently, domestically, we're the first team to stop Liverpool from scoring in like 2.5, 3 years now.
70-odd games, isn't it?
Yeah, 70-odd games. It's ridiculous. But again, I'm watching the media today. We're not really getting the plaudits we should get from that sort of stat. It's just so disheartening. It's unreal.
Well, I think it's always about them not playing well, isn't it? They didn't play well, so that's why they didn't score. It's not because we played well.
But the main excuse the likes of the Carragher's and all that have come out with, they clearly missed Salah and Mane. Let Salah and Mane be a different game. Well, they weren't there. You knew they weren't going to be here. Why not adapt? I'm sorry, for so-called title contenders, you can't just rely on 2 players. We never relied on Henry on his own. We had Henry, Bergkamp, Buddy, Ray Park. We had a whole squad worth of players. So if one got injured when we had AFCON back then, it was like, look, we lost the likes of Lauren and all that. We adapted, we worked, and we were still strong for what we were, and kept on going for a month and a half. Chelsea had the same thing with Drogba. Didn't see them complaining back then.
Oh, well, that's right. That's why you have a squad, isn't it?
No, exactly. I think that's another thing about Liverpool and this bloody COVID bullshit that they pulled last week. The team sheet got leaked out last night, like the entire squad's worth. They had more players on the squad on their side than we had. Yet they claimed 13 players had COVID, and that was it. So I can't be arsed with it. So yeah, as you say, it puts us in good stead for Thursday now. I think the fact it's no away goals either. So even if they do score, we don't have to go gun ho and score 3. We can still score 2 and win by 1 clear goal and still go through.
And there'll be extra time, potentially extra time and penalties, wouldn't there? Potentially. So and we'll be stronger without any doubt. We'll have players coming back, won't we? We'll have Odegaard. Hopefully we'll have Smith Rowe. Hopefully we'll have Tommy. They'll all be back. And that'll put us in a much stronger position. But obviously we won't have Xhaka, so you could argue that puts us in a stronger position.
We may sign a midfielder before then.
I was going to say that. We may have Odegaard, we may have Smith Rowe, but we don't have anyone in the center except Sambi. We have absolutely no one in the center except Sambi.
They've recalled Aziz, haven't they? Is that as a backup as well? Yeah, they've recalled Aziz from his loan spell. So I don't know if that's partly, And I don't think Jack's going to get a go, because I think if Jack was going to get a go, that would have been done. That would have been done
today, basically.
Yeah. So he's been on the books for like 3 months, and Arteta's looked at it, and he's nowhere near what he was. So he's not going to get a contract, is he? I don't think.
What is he now? 28, 29? Jack?
Yeah.
28. He's 28. Yeah.
28. Yeah. So he's not he's on the wrong side of his 20s as well. So he's not going to be the same as he was back then either. Yeah. He hasn't been playing Premier League football since West Ham. Back in that, before David Moyes walked for the door. And he's been there over 2 years now.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
you're more likely for Edu and Arteta to pull their boots on, aren't you? Really?
You can imagine that happening. Actually, the FA come back to us tonight. No, well, you're on a bit. You used to play midfield, and you're director of football. You can both play. We allow you both to play for one game.
It's almost like the Sunday League, isn't it? Sunday League. Who's fit? Who can play? Who can do 90 minutes? You know.
Let's go full hog and get Nigel Winterburn out of retirement for a game in the North London derby. What could go wrong?
Well, you know,
Oh dear.
got to do something, haven't you? Otherwise, you know, it's if they postpone that game, that sets us up better for the Liverpool game, and obviously we will still play the Tottenham game at some point in the future, won't we? So it gives us a good week to, you know, get ourselves back in some sort of shape. And as I say, Liverpool won't be stronger. They'll only have the same players, won't they? And they'll have a game at the weekend. They're going to have a game at the weekend as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
let's just hope the postponement for Liverpool is not towards the end of the calendar, because that would put a lot of pressure for the points. Just in case Spurs are in running for fourth position, which they won't be, but just in case.
Yeah.
I think
because that would put a lot of pressure. Because going towards, like, if you look at the fixture list we had pre all the postponements, we had a good run towards the end. It looked like a good run where we got a lot of momentum into the end. And we've actually got a good fixture list, considering that we don't have the FA Cup as well now. So let's just hope that Tottenham is not towards the end.
Yeah,
I suppose other clubs have got the same problem. That we're not the only club that will have postponed. I mean, there's a lot of other teams that are having their fixtures stacked up as well, aren't they? So we make it a very interesting last couple of months of the season, because we've got an international break. What, in March sometime?
March.
Yeah. So going to be playing a lot of football, I think.
Yeah, I think with us, in terms of us, I think we'll be very well. We've got no European football this season, so we're very flexible in terms of our calendar. And now Tottenham have been kicked out of it themselves. They had to forfeit their last game, so they've been kicked out. So there's no real excuse in terms of European football for them, but they obviously got the FA Cup to go, so it's going to have to be like a European during the European week or something when the Champions League and all that's on. You'd think anyway. But again, we're very flexible. I think the ones that we've got that currently postponed is Liverpool, because that's the Liverpool home game was meant to be played on a cup final day, because either one of us would be in the final either way. That's been postponed, and you've got Chelsea. Depending on how far they go in Europe, will depend on when we play them. So them games will probably be played around end of April, early May, probably, because obviously that's when they're most likely not to have a load of fixtures themselves. But in terms of us, we're very flexible. I mean, just got to wait and see. But yeah, it is what I know. It is what it is. It's frustrating because I want to play the game. I want to get out the way and keep the momentum going and going to Thursday with a bit of a high. Still,
I think the isolation being reduced to 5 days will help everybody, won't it? It's not a full week now, so only having the 5 days isolation will speed up getting players back, won't it? So,
you reckon that's why they've changed it though? Because literally before then, they're until the sudden surge in the sporting events, like sports athletes, and like getting these constant positive tests coming back. We had this previous rule in place for a very long time, and suddenly, like with the old Scotland and Wales putting things behind closed doors for a few weeks, it's suddenly the government have gone, okay, we'll shorten it because I was trying to help you guys out.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think if the FA can find a way not to postpone the game, let's put it that way, they'll find a way. You know, unfortunately, the rule last week was this, but now this week the rule is this. So now you do have enough players to play, so you've got to play the game. That's I just feel very negative towards the FA and how it's all balanced towards our opponents. Really, I feel very much we seem to get on the rough side of every marginal decision. We always seem to come out on the wrong side of it.
That sounds about right.
Referees, VAR. If there's a line decision, we won't get that decision 9 times out of 10.
And the thing is, it's not a new thing either. It's been going on for 30 odd years.
It's not new. It's just it just becomes apparent with the VAR. It just seems to be more highlighted, isn't it?
Oh yeah, especially that New Year's Day round at home massively. I don't care what anyone says. Tinfoil hats and all that, but yeah, I've been saying it for years. They clearly the FA and the referees clearly have a certain hatred towards us and have their favourites already, like the darlings of the Tottenhams, Liverpool now. Used to be United a lot, like heavily, like they still do to a degree. But it was known if you went to United, you weren't going to get a penalty. Even if you got hacked in the air, you weren't getting a penalty. Whereas now it's a bit more, well, it wants to be. But yeah.
Well, I think the City game was a classic, wasn't it? The penalty we didn't get, but they get a penalty, both on VAR.
The same game, yeah.
The same game, and you just think that was a penalty. However you cut it, that was a penalty, and we didn't get it. And they get a soft penalty where he was already going down before Xhaka was making the challenge. In my opinion, I might be totally wrong, but that was my opinion.
Well, Shane's in the chat. He's just put in saying Patty Babbiang's got heart problems, so
Yeah,
he'll be out for a while.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be playing NAFCON. Basically, he's got to fly back at some point.
Really?
There's no point.
We both soon.
That years ago, didn't hear that.
Recovery.
Oh, that's all he bloody needs. Jesus Christ. Doesn't
Well,
even play.
all right. I mean, he had COVID, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had COVID first, didn't he?
He's had COVID recently. Yeah. He's up the heart.
He got off the plane and had COVID, didn't he? He got diagnosed.
He walked off the plane and hi. Yeah. But hi. Boom. He got COVID. Bollocks. And he couldn't play the first game. Now he's literally. I don't think he's in the squad today, even obviously with that news coming out, understands why basically. So that's all he bloody needs, and that'll be a good 12 months for him basically. Put it that way. He had malaria last year, his mum's illness, and so he had another issue as well. It was like
COVID. He had COVID again in the early of the season.
Yeah,
he got COVID twice, right? Because when we played, I think it was Chelsea, he came on as a substitute because he had just recovered from COVID. He was not there for Brentford. He was not there for
start the season. So yeah, Chelsea.
He had COVID.
That City, wasn't he as well?
Yeah. He was it? Yeah, he started for City, but he came on as a sub when he played Chelsea. But he was out for Brentford. So he's had malaria, COVID again, and now heart issues. Like, you wish him the best, man. Like, hope he gets well soon.
Yeah, 100%. And going back to Brentford, that's another thing why I think this North London derby will be forced ahead, because obviously it's on TV like the Brentford game was. Difference was Brentford was the first game of the season as well. They wanted to just get going and not wait till the next day, didn't they? So it's up in the air. If it does go ahead, what happens to us? Because we've got 11 players. We haven't even got a bench. We don't know. And in terms of these 11 players, we don't know what positions they're playing in.
Well, I mean, I suppose is Odegaard going to be fit? Is Smith Rowe going to be fit? You know, you could put Ben White in central midfield, put Chambers on the right. Obviously, I mean, he's holding in the back four. You know, but you're starting to patch it all together, aren't you, really?
Yeah. Well, still a better side than Spurs, so we shouldn't worry about that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But the best players are injured, so it's a bit of a gutted moment as well, because obviously Son's out, so it's like the perfect time to play him because he can't.
No, he's available. He's available Sunday.
Oh, of course. Okay, then call the game off.
Somehow he's become available for Sunday.
Oh, what a surprise!
Yeah. Resurrection, just like the COVID test for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Resurrected instantaneously.
He'll be out for the rest of the week, but he's available for Sunday.
Yeah, he'll come back on Sunday. If the game does go ahead, he'll come back for Sunday and be like, oh, I've got another ankle pull. Sorry, guys, I'll be out for 2 months. Cheeky fecker.
Not that we're biased, obviously.
No, of course not. No. Rivalries and bias aside.
What bias? What bias are you on about?
Yeah.
Worst case. Oh, not say worst case. Depends what way you look at it. If the game does get postponed to a later date, our next run of fixtures league-wise, it's actually a really good run of fixtures. We've got Burnley after the second leg.
Yeah.
Wolves away, because they're only playing home obviously, but that's going to be put to another date. It's got I think Wolves, Brentford, and someone else, and then I think then. Because we were meant to have Chelsea this month as well, but obviously they're going off to the World Club Cup thing in the next couple of weeks, a week or two. I think annoying about this bloody app. So every time you go on it, they want to promote their bloody new merch they're fucking releasing.
But it's a good run of fixtures we had.
Yeah,
if it was postponements,
Yeah, so after Liverpool, we got Burnley at home, Wolves away, Brentford at home. Possible final if we get there against Chelsea, because we all know that's in the final. It's an easy win because we always do well against Chelsea in the final most of the time. And then after that, we've got Watford away. Nice easy 3 points. And then Leicester at home, Villa away. I think the tough one really is Villa for me, because even Leicester's been a bit hit and miss this season. And I think they're in conference, aren't they now? Europa League conference now, so they've still got European football to contend with. They can't win European League conference; they're in trouble. As I say, Villa away is going to be between now and then. Is the one that's going to be probably the tester for us. I think all the other games I do fancy us. I mean, Wolves will be a tough game. Don't get me twisted because they're a decent team, but we should have our full squad back by then. And
we've got another 2 weeks of AFCON. Is it end of January?
Yeah.
Assuming that they stay till the end. I mean, if Ghana get beaten the next game, they're out, aren't they?
They're out.
I think they're playing tonight. I think I'll just double check.
No, Gabon was. I think it was Gabon versus Ghana.
Yeah.
Let me, in fact, have a look. Let me see the scores.
I'm just getting it on the AFCON.
Yeah, I got this.
Ghana are winning against Gabon. 1-0.
Oh well.
So either way, Bamian's back to obviously his health issues, but Ghana needed to. I think it's Ghana need to win anyway because they lost their last game 2-1. Yeah, Andre Ayew scored for Ghana in the 18th minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they should win that then, shouldn't they? Really?
So, it depends if the referee calls time on it 10 minutes early or not.
He should come to the Premier League. You do really well.
He would. He actually would. Yeah. That's a less controversial and more comical decision than the ones we see.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we've had
but to be fair,
we've had referees play until Man United scored. So let's keep going.
Imagine this ref during Ferguson's era. What would Fergie time be with him? What Fergie time be with him? Like 20 minutes before the 90th minute, he blows the whistle. It'd be great.
United, they pretty much gone off the boil since they sold Howard Webb. That's the problem for them.
Yeah.
That's the best signing they ever had. That's the best signing they ever had.
Yeah. Whenever it was a big game, I remember whenever it was a bit like Man United versus like home or away against either us, Liverpool, Chelsea. If Howard Webb was in charge, you just don't bother watching, don't bother turning up because United again getting the result tonight.
But it was the game where I think Welbeck scored the winner during the FA Cup, and Howard Webb was in charge, and he made some really controversial decisions against them lot. And I remember there was a message that went around that Howard Webb was not paid well enough for the week.
That was his last season as well, wasn't it? I think. Before he retired.
Was he even there last season? I don't remember him last season.
No, but I'm saying that season.
That season.
Welbeck in the FA Cup. I think that was his last season as well.
Yeah, of course, United must have fired him after that. No, he did. He did officiate. I think he did officiate one more season after. But yeah, it's been quite a long time.
They haven't won a domestic trophy since then, have they?
Yeah, that's a point.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
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 Not that I'm saying it's a coincidence, obviously, but
But no league title says it all. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shane's asking, would you go 3 at the back whilst we've got our issues, or would you stick with the 4 at the back?
I'll stick with the 4. I actually did. Even if you did watch yesterday, it looked like a 3 at the back, but Ben White would keep like placing himself into the midfield to firm it up. As soon as the attacks would come, which was relentless, he would drop back to form the middle 3. But he like again, I think Ryan, you said very, very, very well earlier on that you have to give credit to Arteta. That what is the chance that you lose your right back and get down to 10 men by losing your midfield pivot? Like, let's hypothetically say we lost a left back. We still have two options. We have Tavares and your good friend Kola, who can come in and do a job. But what are the chances you lose a midfield pivot and you lose a right back? Because you're right. Chambers came in, slotted in, and I think Steve mentioned earlier on that how is Cedric getting ahead of Chambers? I think the only two logical points are that A, Chambers is not fully fit, and two, I think Chambers is similar, at least in stature and physicality, to Tomiyasu, while Cedric brings, well, I don't know what he brings, but he brings
He
something.
brings something apparently.
He brings something. I don't know, hair gel, which the other two don't. I don't know, but um, yeah, I think the back four is working, and I think there is a certain seamless fluidity about how even Ramsdale was like. If you notice, playing out from the back became quite tricky with three at the back. He kept kicking it long the entire time because I think the structure, even with Chelsea, playing out with the back three they have it becomes very tight. So if you notice that they try to use the width as compared to the center, so it does restrict having a three at the back.
It's very difficult, isn't it? Because Liverpool are very good at hunting the ball down. They hunt in packs, don't they? There's no space really. They're very quick at winning the ball back, and we didn't really have anybody to pick out, did we? Ramsdale didn't really have anybody to pick out for a long ball, did he? A quick long ball.
No, he didn't.
Lacazette, bless him, he doesn't really have a lot of pace now, does he? He's very good at holding the ball up and sort of getting involved, but he can't run away from people, can he?
No.
So I just think it was a defensive game, and that's what we're good at the moment. We're good at defending. There's no doubt about it. So we don't have a problem at the back. We have a problem in the midfield, don't we? And if Tommy's back, that gives us an extra chance to put, Ben White into the middle, doesn't it? Potentially, if we need to do that.
Well, put Callum there because Callum when he was at Fulham, he played. That's the reason he got player of the year at Fulham, didn't he? He dropped into that in the second half of the season. Yeah. Well played. We've got options. So we have got options.
So Tommy's not injured, is he? He's COVID, isn't he?
It was COVID, yeah.
No, it wasn't injury. It was COVID. It was before City, I think he had COVID. He recovered from COVID, and then I think he's picked up an injury. If I'm not mistaken, it was thigh. I think it was a thigh injury, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I can't read it, but I think it was an injury.
But if his class is injured for the Tottenham game, that's another player that's on our list of unavailables, isn't it?
So Smith Rowe has a groin injury. Odegaard COVID. Kolasinac, yay. Hamstring. Tomiyasu has a calf injury. Elneny, Pepe, Aubameyang, and Partey international duty. So that's and I think Saka even limped off yesterday.
Yeah.
So
you mentioned Kola. I think that was a low point of my year so far. Seeing Kola coming on in the last minute, obviously against Forest when we needed a goal. I thought that just summed up where we were really.
Yeah, we're doing a stream on that, and we're all sitting there like, hang on, I know they're kids, but you brought the likes of Birif, Hutchinson, and Selo and Deeney all the way up to Nottingham to be part of the matchday squad, and you've not run them out. We need a goal. They can all score goals. They've proven since then as well at the Emirates and the Papa John Trophy, they can score goals. And you didn't use one of them. You brought on the person that you want out. You brought the one person you want out the club on the pitch to try and get you a win.
But he didn't even bomb forward. There was no. It wasn't as if he brought him.
But that's what I thought. I thought when he would game. That's exactly what I thought. That he would come over and use his physicality to like muscle himself into the box, but we didn't see that.
Yeah. So that was bizarre. That was almost like throwing in the towel, wasn't it?
I was like, yeah, you're gonna have to win. We've got the League Cup. So that's better. I'm joking, by the way, for anyone out there. comes at me. Shane's saying in the chat, did you see Jack's combined 11 on the Talk Sport? No Spurs players in his team. What's your 11? Pretty much so, really.
There wouldn't be any Tottenham players in it.
No, exactly.
No, but to be fair, I think the only player we could slot there would be Kane, I guess, because we don't have someone as clinical as in the team right now.
Yeah.
Is he? The thing is, he's not that clinical at the moment, is he?
No, not right now. But if we're to look at
his career,
yeah, like if we're to look at it, like I would not put Son in front of like Martinelli or Saka. I personally wouldn't. But you would slot in a Harry Kane. I think maybe from the 11, that's the only one.
Technically, he's a gooner as well. Technically, just
yeah.
If you know.
Would you
transfer, wouldn't it? If we
from the midfield pivot in our midfield pivot, if you were to do a combined 11, and you had the choice of Xhaka and Partey, would you replace Xhaka with one of theirs?
Oh, bloody hell!
Like Højbjerg's more reliable than Xhaka. He doesn't have the passing ability as Xhaka, but he's your quintessential enforcer.
So do you guys think we're going to bring anybody in the window, midfield wise?
I think we'll make a loan sign and we'll buy someone. I think we'll get this Arthur guy from Juventus on loan, but also buy someone as well. But Arthur has it stagnated because what Juventus ironically want is a replacement, and I find that ridiculous because I think I even said this a couple of days back. Midfielders.
They have nothing but midfielders. Like, let me try and see if I can get you just some of the players that Juventus have, and you'd be like, what replacement do you need, buddy? You know, like I find that insane. You look at, okay, let's start with Aaron Ramsey, but apparently he's on his way out. They have Rabiot, they have Federico, they have Rodrigo Bentancur, Locatelli, Artur, Chiesa, but he plays more up front than in the middle, Weston McKennie, and Fabio Miretti. These are their midfield options, and they don't want to send us Arthur because they need a replacement. Like,
get the logic. We ain't got no one.
Like what are our options? Sambi, maybe Charlie Patino. No, you're good. You guys are good. We are not good. We need depth. We don't have enough midfielders. I'm sorry. How many more do you need? 11?
Well, we should be after the player that Juventus want to bring in to top up their midfield.
That's true.
That's true. It's going to be better than what they've got. Then we should be buying Arthur. We should be buying the player they want. If he's there.
But ironically, the rumor is that the player they're after is the same player we want, Bruno Guimaraes from Lyon. So it just sounds a little ridiculous right now what's happening. Because we were in for Locatelli. We were in for Locatelli in the summer, but I think Locatelli's heart was set in to move to Juventus, so we lost out there. But this is just insane. Look at the kind of depth they have in their midfield, and they don't want to let Arthur go because they need a replacement.
You couldn't make it up. You really couldn't.
No, I'm saying and I'm not even touched on their forward list. Like, their forward list is equally like they have Alvaro Morata, they have Paulo Dybala, they have Moise Kean, they have Dejan Kulusevski, who again we have been linked with. They have Caio Jorge, they have Matthias Sule. Like, oh my god, like what? I get it. I don't get it.
Oh dear. I think with Bruno, aren't we the front? What last time I had were front runners for him because we're willing to pay Leon what they want, and in terms of actual personal terms, there's no issue there.
Yeah,
it's just Leon being
the
Leon.
fee. It's the fee. I think they're demanding 45 million, and for January, and I think we're trying to go all out for Vlahovic. And Fiorentina are okay with the terms. It's just the agent is being a little bit of a dick.
Yeah, he wants like 10 £10 million to himself, basically, something like that, agent fees.
You know what? Like I was reading some of the rumors. Like he wants 10 million. He wants to put a 10% a clause that whenever Arsenal, if ever Arsenal sells Vlahovic, he gets 10% of the sale. I'm like, are you serious?
No wonder. Cause again, I've heard rumours that him and the agent of Vlahovic have been having the heads have been coming together, so he's saying, in the last few months, and Vlahovic just saying it's having enough. It's had enough of it, and he's on the verge of sacking. Apparently, if this doesn't
Yeah.
go through, he doesn't get he doesn't get a move away. He could either now or in summer. When he does get a move, he'll bin him off straight away.
People
think-
say
I
that
think we'll end
Mino
up-
Raiola is sorry. Go on, Steve.
No, I was just going to say, you know, we'll end up getting somebody we've never heard of, and I've put it out on Twitter, you know, many times. You know, we'll get people that are not on anybody's radar. That's who we'll get, and they'll turn into another Tommy or Lakonga, won't they? You know, so
I think the other options were, if we don't get Vlahovic, it's either Isak or Jonathan David. Then these were the two alternatives. Which again, I personally would want to go. I mean, I know this is going to sound very controversial, but I've watched a lot of Isak. Not fully convinced, and he's not even and he's older than Vlahovic by I think about a year. So I would want Jonathan David because I've seen the kind of pace he has, and he's a scarily good footballer, but he lacks the physicality that the other two have. So it's a catch-22 on that side.
But also because obviously he comes from Lille, doesn't he? So he would have had that partnership in terms of a teammate bond with also Gabriel and all that. So that's
no, but I think he signed after Gabriel signed for us. I think he signed.
Didn't go that quick then.
Because I think it was a season. I think it was a season where Gabriel came to us, which was last season. Is when Jonathan David signed. But let me just confirm that. But I think it was that because he was not. He was the replacement for the fellow that went to Napoli.
Oh yeah.
So I think that was the reason. I don't think Gabriel played with him, but let me just confirm that. Where is Jonathan David? Jonathan David signed in 2020, August 2020. Yep, the same season where Gabriel signed for us.
Oh, okay. But so there was still a sense of bond over, basically, either way in that sense.
Yeah.
Thing is, which is the easier deal to do, Jonathan or Isak, as opposed to Vlahovic? I mean, you know, this time of year, which one is the easiest? Which one are you more likely, if you really put the money down, would you be more likely to get?
It's a good question because Lille right now sit at 10th. Well off the Champions League places because they're on. Actually, no, not really.
They can't retain their title. Put it that way.
No, of course not. Yeah, but like I think maybe they do want to fight for European place, and they're 28 points. Rennes are on 31 points, and they're on 4th. So the difference is 3 points. So that is possible. In the Bundesliga, Isak is from not Leverkusen. He plays for
Sociedad.
Yes. So that's La Liga. Sociedad also doing well. They're sitting in 5th with 33 points. So again, just 1 point behind Betis. Betis are on 3rd with 34. So again, I think both strikers are vital for their respective clubs. And so I think for what Arteta is looking for, I think he is prioritizing Vlahovic because he is the perfect striker in comparison to the two. He's got Isak's physicality, and he's got David's pace, and he's clinical. He's absolutely clinical, and he's scoring that in the Serie A. So.
Yeah,
and would
a 30-year record he
part of that deal as well then, because Fiorentina were interested in Torreira as well, weren't they?
That's the deal we put on the table. Apparently, what's it? Torreira plus 65 or something we put forward, and
50. It's 50 something plus Torreira.
Yeah, 50 plus Torreira, and the Fiorentina are happy with that offer.
Yeah.
The player's happy with the personal terms and all that. It's just the agent holding things up, looking after number one, basically.
Yeah.
So it's just
this-
the agent, then, isn't it? It's just the agent's cut.
Literally, it's just the agent. It's hacking me off. I don't know about him.
And the irony is, I think even the agent put the club at ransom at one point. I think he told Fiorentina, "We will sign an extension, but we need, I think, 10 million again upfront, and we need a 10% clause."
Dodgy. He's
And
dodgy.
the president was like, "What's wrong with you? Get out of here!" You know.
Yeah, he's dodgy. That guy sounds dodgy. That's saying
Like
something.
Mino Raiola does not do this, and he's been credited as one of the most infamous agents out there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course, at the age he is, I mean, when he's 26, he'd go for a similar contract, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
With us, if he stayed with us or go somewhere else. If he's as good as people think he is, and he has a fantastic few seasons in the Premier League, you'll have a lot of clubs come in for him at that age, won't he? He was 25, 26. In his prime.
Well, Mo's in the chat. He's saying Isaac is like Timo Werner at Chelsea. He needs space. He needs a counter-attacking team.
Well, if he's anything like Werner, no, thank you. No, but Mo is right. I have watched Isak, and I think because he plays as the traditional number 9, and because he's really tall, I think he's 6'2", 6'3".
6'3",
so they do. Sorry,
I think he's 6'3". I think.
He's quite tall, and because he's quick as well, he can exploit the space in the air. But he's not as explosive as Jonathan David. Jonathan David is quick. He is rapid. So that's where Vlahovic is, I think, best of both worlds. He's quick for a guy that big. He's tall. He's physical. He's good on heading. He's good with and he's left-footed. So I think it's good to have this combination. Vlahovic would be a good addition, but again, I think I do know why they're targeting a striker, because we're short in that department for the long term. It's not just for the season. Lacazette's done at the end of this season. Eddie's done at the end of the season. Aubameyang, it doesn't look good. So we could be starting next season with only Balogun if he comes back from his loan spell. We have no one else up front. So I think Vlahovic is an investment for the going into next season. And I don't want to fight the other clubs in the summer. I think we will get outmuscled by the other clubs next season.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why we've made him our priority now, because obviously, to say, come the summer, one of the big boys will get Haaland, as we all know, and whoever doesn't get Haaland, they're going to go after the next best thing, which is Vlahovic at the moment. So if we can get that in the bud now. But I think that in terms of him, I think because of the agent being a knobhead, that's probably going to be like the last 2-3 days. We'll probably get that over the line by skin of our teeth. And not bad. In terms of him coming in, not bad timing. Yeah. Then you've got his debut possibly could be against Wolves on the 10th. Got a nice easy. He's not. He hasn't got to go up against a City or anything like that. He's got like the mid-table teams. All that's go off you go. Do what you got to do. Show the league what you're worth, basically. Use these few months to sort of bed him in. Hopefully, get us over the line in terms of top 4 as well, and then we kick on for next season. Because what was it when in our Invincible season we bought Jose Antonio Reyes at the winter window, and Wenger said solely, but the sole reason we bought him in now and not in the summer was to give him 6 months to adapt to not just the culture of the country but to the league itself. So then come the following season he could kick on, and that start to the following season he was on fire. He was something else. I mean that goal. Again, one of my favourite goals was that goal against Middlesbrough. Where literally, we were 3-1 down at one point, got back to 3-2, and Perez pings the ball, and he takes it on his weak foot, drags it back quickly, and then just bends it, curls it past Swartzen, and it's opposite the far corner. It was different. He was different grave, and it was a shame it didn't work out, obviously, because of. He couldn't adapt to English weather because it's obviously coming from Spain, nice hot weather to England. Even then was a bit, But yeah, it's a lot. People give him grief as well sometimes. Whereas at the time, I was like, look, he's a cracking player. It just didn't work out. He just couldn't settle down. Hopefully, though, we've seen it recently with Luca Tadeo as well. Wanted to come, he tried, it hasn't worked, and hopefully this time, touch wood, it does something. We can get Dustin over the line. That it does work because, mate, he is the next best thing to Haaland, as we've just been saying. Literally, to break a record like he did last season in terms of being the top goal scorer, breaking a Serie A record that stood for years at a club like Fiorentina. Not even like it's not like he's gone to he played for Juventus or an AC Milan or Inter Milan to break the record. He played, with all due respect, at this moment in time, a team that's predominantly in Europa League sometimes every now and then, or man mid-table. They're not.
He's the missing piece, isn't he? Potentially, with another midfield player, he could be the missing piece, couldn't he?
Yeah,
he could be the player that pushes us on to that top four, or better. Where we are at the moment, that's what we're missing, aren't we? Having said that, the amount of goals Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, Smith Rowe have scored in the last few weeks, we've not needed a striker, have we?
That's the thing this season. That's the major thing. That the first time in years, we're spreading the goals out in months on midfield.
Yeah. All since Uber was dropped, bizarrely.
Ironically.
So, I don't wish him any ill. I hope he recovers and he comes. He comes back. If he doesn't play for us, he plays for somebody else. But I think that player missing. That's the player we need, just to give it that final little tweak. And then you had another strong midfield player in there. We're there or thereabouts, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. And also, I want to add to that is with Dusan doing. Well, I can say because I can't keep saying his bloody surname over and over again. Did my head in. If Dusan obviously comes, and he can look if he can do that at Fiorentina, and with all due respect, again, the players they have aren't going to be anywhere near the level of what we've got. If he comes in and settles in like that, if Odegaard supplying Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, my God, we'd have an exciting attacking force going forward for the next 5 or 6 years if all things go well.
I think if we have someone like Vlahovic, considering even when how we started the season, how we kept giving Tierney the ball and he would cross it in, we would get a lot of goals from crosses because the guy is huge. He's like 6'3", strong fella, quick. Like we'd be able to play so much through the lines because he could use his pace to beat the last man. Like it'd be a joy to watch him.
Is he like a quick Giroud?
Yeah, it's quicker than Giroud. I assure you, it's quicker than Giroud.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Giroud was great at holding the ball up and in the box, but if you added pace to Giroud, but he's the right age. He fits the makeup of the players we want, isn't he? He's the right age. Yeah. He's got the right attitude. He looks like he's got the right physique to play in the Premier League. So he ticks all the boxes, doesn't he? So, and we don't seem to be, for some reason, short of money at the moment, do we? We don't seem to be fazed by.
It's amazing what a potential takeover can do to our current ownership.
I do believe
we're not buying wood from bloody Burnley, are we? Like they've got all that money and they're coming out with sort of some really weird signings, aren't they? But
I said this on another channel. It was a neutral channel. We don't know Newcastle related. There was a Newcastle fan on there. I was like, with all this money, giving it last week, Newcastle fans, you bought Trippier near the end of his career, 30. He's literally like 2 seasons and he's done basically. And you've gone and bought Chris Wood again, who's just hit 30, and in a season where his goal tally is at its worst he's ever been. He's literally got 2-3 goals this season in all comps. You need to get out of relegation. You thought 25 mil is a good price to go and pay for someone who's not scoring goals.
And no doubt there'll be some sort of clause if they get relegated. Trippier, Woods, any of these players, if they get relegated,
Yeah, there's a clause. If they get relegated, he comes to Arsenal instead. Be back up to Tomiyasu. Won't be a bad backup either way, squad player wise. But
Do you
yeah,
want an Spurs guy in your squad? I'm not having it.
just to piss them off. Just to piss them off,
Oh, fair
really.
enough. That's fine. That's
Not Sol
fine.
Campbell, just to piss them off.
Yeah,
I'll take Harry
that's
Kane, just to piss them off.
Yeah.
So what's the classic? Sol Campbell, I want to win the league with Tottenham, so he signed for Arsenal, didn't he? And won the league.
Signed for Arsenal, came back 2 years later and won it on their ground.
That's class. That is class.
Again, that you could not write that even you could not write that any better. So that goes to the next door neighbours. 2 seasons later, not only are they unbeaten at the time, but a point gets him the title. He goes and gets it, and he's pissed off. Because obviously they weren't told that. Obviously, all they did was a point. The only person that was told was Wenger. He didn't even tell the players, so they thought they dropped points, and that the title was still on. Because then when Wenger said, "No, the title's done. We've won the title. Go and celebrate. It's okay. I'll talk to Lens later."
Great days.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Perhaps Harry Kane should do that. If Harry Kane wants to win the league, perhaps he should sign for us.
Yeah, might as well. We're going in the right direction. I think we'll win it sooner than Tottenham will. Oh dear! Imagine, mate, they'll fucking have a meltdown. Trust me. Again, imagine he comes and in 6 months wins the League Cup or something.
Yeah.
The meltdown they would have.
Well, I don't know.
Kane was saying Reyes had to give up.
They've had a new manager by then, so we'll see.
Who else can I go for? There's no one better. To be honest, in terms of manager-wise, there's no one they can get that's going to be.
It doesn't matter, does it? Let's be honest. It doesn't matter who manages.
Well, it's proven it. Even he's losing his shit now.
I think the problem is it's quite evident. Daniel Levy, because I mean, this is the guy who's given Harry Kane a promise that you can go to Man City, and when Man City came knocking, the man was nowhere to be seen. So when you're hiring Conte, I'm pretty sure he must have told Conte, I assure you, you sign for us as a manager. Here's 18 months. We will back you up with every player you want. Like Conte would be like, "God, you man, I want a Chiesa." Great. Daniel Levy would go down to like Argentina and pull up a Chiesa no one's ever heard of, man. You may give him a Chiesa pie from a bakery and say, "I thought that's what you meant." Like Daniel Levy is the most infamous chairman to have, and like and Conte will not he will not hold back. He'll give you. He'll give it to you openly, and he'll say, "Hey, man, this is not what I was promised," and he will go public about it. When he was at Chelsea, I remember, and at Chelsea, who just like sneeze out 50 million for a player you want, he went public about it when he was unhappy. Imagine at Tottenham, meltdown, the poor man.
Yeah, because with Chelsea, what was it? He wanted. I can't remember who he actually wanted, but they ended up spending money on Ross Barker. He didn't want Ross Barker. He didn't suit his system. From now on in, he just lost the plot with them. Then coming into the season, eventually he walked. We saw it with Inter Milan as well. This last summer, won the Serie A title of Inter Milan, and he got told, if you want to great job and all that,
sell players like
but
Hakimi.
you have to sell players to strengthen the team. You got to sell your best players to strengthen the team. And he was like, "No, I'm not for that life."
Yeah.
If he doesn't get who he wants in this window, as you say, he's going to do the exact same thing he did at Chelsea. He's going to have a kick off. He's doing it already, technically, in all.
He's only got what? He's got a 2-year contract. He's not got a long-term.
18 months.
18 months. I think he's just
that was
maximum.
When he signed. That was when he signed, wasn't it?
That's when he signed. Yeah, so a year and a half.
So he's only got a year left on it, hasn't he? Or 2.
Effectively, yeah. So coming into the season, he'll have a year left.
Summer.
So if he's in fact, you also see the season out and walk. Like,
probably. Yeah.
Like, yeah, he told you so. Thing is, again, no bias or nothing, guys, but as an Arsenal man, I'll take great pleasure in Tottenham's demise.
Well, Conte was complaining today, wasn't he? He's complaining about us potentially asking for
the game off, yeah.
But then that was fine when they needed a postponement against some non-league team in the conference, wasn't it? You know, which ultimately knocked them out.
Yeah.
You know,
so,
I think even they postponed the Liverpool game, if I'm not mistaken. I think they postponed the Liverpool match that they had. So that's good. That's fine. When we do it, it's a big deal. I think that's the problem. I think the problem is we're too nice, and it's coming back to bite, because we went and played against Brentford. We went ahead and played, and we're very ready. Liverpool. Yeah, I mean, it's a question of who's saying it, not why.
I was just checking my phone. There's people are saying that Tottenham are absolutely livid that we're doing this, and basically they're basing that anger around the fact that we let Ainsley out on loan. But that was a difference. We have 11 players. The rule is you have to have 13 or more to fill a squad.
2 goalkeepers.
Yeah,
2 goalkeepers.
possibly. That's what I'm saying. We don't know who out of the 11, what positions these players are playing in terms of what they actually, who these players are. Because they're saying 11 players are available. So if Ainsley was here, that'd be 12. Yeah, we're still a player short of the requirement. So they can swivel on it. And as you say, it was okay for them when they're before Christmas and they're trying to get games. They're calling games off left, right, and centre. Then trying to get a few more games called off. They're 2 weeks off. And they're trying to. They try to get the Liverpool game called off. I'm like, are you taking the piss?
Yeah, they are.
And here we are. We asked for one game. Just give us a few days to recouping, sort of house out. We're not closing down the training centre. Nothing. It's not that bad in terms of COVID, but we need to sort of crap out. And Tottenham having a meltdown. You couldn't make it up.
But that does tell you the intimidation factor that right now Tottenham would rather play us weakened as compared to even if we're slightly strong, not even strong, just slightly strong. Like they're shitting their pants. They know what's coming, and that's something to be very happy about as an Arsenal fan.
Yes, I said I take back pleasure in it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, no news has officially come out from the Premier League yet if it's going to go ahead or not.
Just imagine, if we have to play the game and we go there with 11 players and we win the game, what does that do?
Imagine that. No bench or whatever. No bench at all as well.
Good job we didn't take our full side.
Well, Tottenham will turn around and say that we were not prepared for this. That's why we lost.
We wasn't prepared for all 3 goalkeepers to be playing, one in striker, one in midfield.
We didn't think about Leno playing centre forward. We didn't think about that.
I think Ramsdale would make a good midfielder. The way he plays the ball from the back, he'd be a good midfielder.
The ball, can't he?
Yeah.
Put Leno in goal, put Ramsdale at centre midfield. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
There we go. I'm Arteta in the making. You see, that's great. And we'd still beat Tottenham, and they still throw that as an excuse. They're like, we could not. How can a goalkeeper play midfield? We do not accept this. Like, okay, buddy.
It's cheating.
Yes,
it's cheating. How dare they have Leno up front as well, knocking them in for fun? Playing up by Maradona.
Yeah, I still don't know how he out-jumped Shilton. Jesus. Still not got over that.
I think we all know. I wasn't even around then, and I know.
Unbelievable. The way he celebrated as well.
But even afterwards, years afterwards, you were saying, no, it was a header. I didn't handball it.
Yeah.
Still framed with me actually hitting the ball with the whole of his fist. Head was nowhere near it. No, that's fake.
Well, as an Arsenal fan, we should be a little quiet about that because remember what Thierry did. I mean, it was not for Arsenal, but still.
Well, against Ireland.
Yeah.
France v Ireland World Cup qualifier. Yeah, bloody hell. Did it all.
Yeah.
And then it was clear handball, and
it wasn't even close.
It didn't disguise. He just went. There you go.
It was exactly that.
Well, the thing is, you go back
literally on a plate. There you go.
If you had VAR, we probably don't win the World Cup if we had VAR, do we?
It's true. That's true.
So
Colonel saying we call Van Arsene to score bicycle kick.
If they do VAR in all these tight games, it'd be a completely different history, wouldn't it? Of winners and losers, it'd be completely different, wouldn't it?
But there's no way VAR. They would have allowed us to go unbeaten in 0304. No way in God's green earth would they have allowed that.
No.
You can just imagine final day of the season, we're losing 1-0, still unbeaten, but on that when Ashley Cole goes down for that penalty, no, not a penalty, play on. And we just go, for fuck's sake, and give up on the last day.
The Nistelrooy penalty that hits the bar, that gets retaken somehow, doesn't it? Encroachment.
Yeah.
You didn't hit the target, boys. He's got to hit the target for a miss. If he misses it, you save it. Fair enough.
I mean, goalkeepers back in the day
even
used to almost. The goalkeepers back in the day almost were running out onto the centre spot, weren't they, to save it?
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, there was no staying on the line, was there? Even they're supposed to, but you know, crazy times.
Oh dear.
Because now you're getting hairline decisions, aren't you? You're just waiting 10 minutes for them to make their mind up.
Yeah. Well, the worst one for me last season was as a neutral. Bamford got pulled up for offside and they judged it from his fingertip. He was pointing where they went to the ball, and they judged he's offside because his finger, literally, fingertip. I was like,
but they changed that. They changed that for this season
because of the backlash they got. Yeah, because of the backlash.
Yeah.
What about the Man United game? You know, the VAR that disallowed the goal. I mean, how far back do they have to go to find an infringement?
Well, they tried to look for the handball first, didn't get that, so no offside, no, can't get that. So then they went to he fouled him. When actually it was Cavani running into the defender, but anyway.
Yeah. But they found a way. They found a way of disallowing it. And funny, it was Man United. Really strange, but there you go.
Yeah, what a coincidence! And it, was it again last season? Arsenal v Wolves v Arsenal at their place. We're 1-0 up. David Luiz running back, his kneecap literally scrapes the studs of the striker. Penalty, and everyone's and all the referees are defending it. The ex-refs are.
Was it a red card as well? Wasn't it? Wasn't it a red card?
He got given a straight red, and it was a penalty. Yeah. It was like the reason they didn't change go to VAR. The VAR didn't overturn the ref because David Luiz didn't make an attempt for the ball. He didn't actually tackle the player. Anyway, so he didn't tackle the player, which means it technically isn't a foul then, but you're saying it's a foul because he didn't do it. If he tackled him, if he swipes his feet, it's a booking.
You know, if we had the baggy kits from the 80s and by any chance, I think if one of the players just
reezed.
Yeah, like by chance his sleeve fluffed in the air and slapped him in the face, red card. You know, like
Imagine Xhaka back in the 80s. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Xhaka! I think Xhaka would be more suspended more than he'd actually be playing. So if Wenger was in charge, he'd be like every 3 games we have a new signing. It's Xhaka. I think every 3 games we have a new signing.
Oh dear! I think with that things up because obviously we've got.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, we covered a bit much everything. We've got a bit of transfer talk there as well, and we will wait. We've had no breaking news about if it's going ahead or not.
Tomorrow morning, won't it? Will it be tomorrow morning?
Yeah. I think tomorrow.
Latest it'll be tomorrow morning now, at the latest.
No traveling fans, so I think that's what makes it easy. That there are no traveling fans, so it'll be easier.
Yeah, for across London, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh dear. From the nice half to the rough half. Anyway. Just saying.
The toilet bowl. Come on.
Yeah.
It's
probably more PC about it, but yeah. Get all the Tottenham fans in the comments box afterwards. You can walk
Don't care.
Bring it on. Come on, bring it.
You live for that abuse. You live for that.
Yeah. The last thing I want to say was Jamie O'Hara is an absolute melt. He does my head in on Twitter. I'm sorry. Boast about Arsenal getting knocked out the FA Cup, but he literally played and supports a team in Tottenham that hasn't won a FA Cup since 91. That's the only FA Cup they've won in my 32 years of existence. In my 32 years of existence, Arsenal have been to 10 finals, won 9, won the 89 title when I was 6 days old, 91, 98, 2002, 2004, got to a Champions League final, were robbed in the last 15 minutes, or 15 minutes away from being European champions. We won a European Cup Winners' Cup in 94. We won the League Cup as well in 93.
Part of the Charity Shields in there as well.
Throw the old Charity Shields in as well, why not?
Yeah, a couple of European finals as well. We got to 2 UEFA Cup finals.
Yeah.
And how many consecutive years in the top 4?
22, I think it was. 22.
And obviously, top 4s aren't trophies now, but unless you're Man United, in which case they are a trophy.
But of all that, of everything that's happened in that, Tottenham have achieved one FA Cup and one League Cup, and yet he goes
you forget they won the prestigious Audi Cup. Come on.
Oh, yeah, the Audi Cup, the biggest cup in the world, yeah.
Davinson Sanchez kissed the trophy. How can you forget that? Come on. How can you forget that? Right.
I think it's bigger than the World Cup. I think the Audi Cup.
Yeah, it's the World Cup, the World Club Cup, the Champions League, and the Premier League together. Yes, that's what it has 4 rings.
It's almost like
the 4 rings represent the 4 prestigious trophies.
Half the country wasn't born when Tottenham last won a trophy.
Fucking hell. That's true. Oh dear. But then he was, and also today with Jamie as well. Like, oh, this is because of Xhaka's suspension and a few injuries. This is fantastic. I can't wait for Sunday to pump him. Like, oh, you want to pump kids, do you? That's great. That's what would happen. We've got our kids out, and you're, yeah, Northern London White because we pumped kids. Fuck off. It's not. It's red. It's staying red. It'll be red forever.
Yeah.
Freaking idiot. He just does. Why he gets so much bloody airtime is beyond me. He hasn't got a clue what he's talking about. But
most commentators haven't, though, have they? There has been professionals and most.
Well, apparently, what was it last week? Jamie Carragher last week was obviously all in for Liverpool. Of Liverpool calling off last Thursday's game. We've appealed. We've applied for Sunday's game to be postponed, and because, as you say, because it's on Sky, and he works at Sky. Him and going ever having a kick off over it. Oh, it's okay for your clubs to do it. Cough. Because it affects your employer. Oh no, you have a kick-off. Cough, go away. Oh dear, but it is what it is. As I said, as it stands, it could be a full. It could be literally one stream back-to-back watch-longs as it stands until we're told different tomorrow. Arsenal ladies are playing the Reading ladies, and we've got a new signing in today as well from Sweden, striker. To ease the pressure off Vivian and all that. Hopefully, she'll get a run out on Sunday. Hopefully, touch wood. Again, if the game goes ahead on the men's, we'll go straight into that with the guys and go through that, and hopefully, we'll come out with a win there. If it doesn't go ahead, it doesn't go ahead. We still have match of the day streams. We still have the quiz on Monday, and obviously the return podcast next week as well. Obviously, depending on what happens on the men's side of it on Monday. But yeah, until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening and obviously weekend and all that. We'll see you tomorrow at 10:25 for the match of the day. I just wanted to ask you, say thank you to obviously Steve for coming along and obviously taking part in tonight's podcast along with Kunjan. Kunjan, where can people find you?
Every Tuesday with Andrew. I think I'm very proud to be associated with that. So please just find. Sorry.
He's a good guy, Andrew.
He's a great guy. Thanks to him, someone like Ryan reached out to me. So yeah, please to get onto YouTube and From Dial Square to Where with Andrew, and it'd be great to keep bumping into you lot. On a positive note, on a parting note, Ghana drew with Gabon 1-1.
So basically, Ghana now have to win their last game, is it?
Yes.
They have to win.
They have to win. I think it's against Comoros. So chances are they have to.
Well, that's last week, so it's not guaranteed. They lose. Who did they play last week?
Was it Morocco? I think it's Morocco.
I think it was. So literally the point. So next week's no guarantee.
Yeah. But if that does come back, new signing for Arsenal, and his name is Thomas Partey.
Yeah. They'll have his mate back in midfield when he comes back as well, so he'll be doing all right.
We could try him.
Yeah, I think we should give Thomas number 4. I don't know why. I think there's a bit of a history between the club and number 4 and Thomas. I think it would work.
5. I think 5. 5. Let's look at 5.
Oh dear, but yeah, all that side. As I said, we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Hopefully on Sunday. And as always, enjoy the rest of your evening and the weekend, and we'll see you hopefully on Sunday. As always, up the Arsenal. Come on, you guys.
Cheers. Nice to meet you.